Today, I want to talk to you about a different kind of loneliness. Not the loneliness of being single or moving to a new city or state or even grieving someone that you lost. I'm talking about the loneliness of never belonging in the first place and just being too much sometimes. So, if you've ever felt like an outsider in every room you enter, this message is for you.
This is the essence of femininity, healing emotion, bold energy, grace in my walk, truth in my voice, loving myself is my power, my
Hi there. I am the Essence of Femininity, your certified professional life and recovery coach for codependency recovery, and this is my YouTube channel. I'm Yellow Butterfly. Today, I want to talk to you about a very real kind of loneliness that doesn't get discussed enough. And it's not the type of loneliness of being single or moving to a new city or state. And it's not the kind of loneliness of losing a loved one. I'm talking about the loneliness of just not fitting in anywhere. You walk into a room and you're either too much or you're stared at because you're not enough. Maybe you're too passionate for the laid back crowd, or maybe you're too loud for the quiet crowd. You're too wild for the serious ones, and you're too serious for the jokers. Who knows? Anyways, if you have ever felt like that, you know how brutal that can be. And it's like living as a permanent outsider, just watching everyone else do life together in their little groups. And you're just sitting there wondering, like, well, why don't I fit in anywhere? Now, society feeds us these myths about belonging. It says that, oh, you're going to find your people when you're in high school or at church or when you're at work or in college or doing certain hobbies or networking. That's when you're going to find your tribe, and you're just going to click, and everything is just going to be like, wow, wonderful. But it's not like that. And this is the reason, because usually when you're trying to fit in, it requires you to shrink yourself to fit into someone else's box. And if you are a person who honors your essence, your life, your energy, you don't fit into boxes. So therefore, you just feel out of place. And like me, some people are just wired to feel and notice everything very deeply. You're not necessarily neutral or you're clashing with people, but you just can't flow with that shallow stuff. And people in groups and cliques, they sense that about you, that you're just not going to flow with that. And sometimes they're intrigued by it, but most times they're offended by it. So instead of trying to understand, they will judge you and slander your character and just push you out. And after you have enough of those experiences, you're like, you know what? I'm not going to try to live this lie and be cordial and diplomatic with them. I'm just going to be on my own and do my own thing. And that's how we become that person. You don't belong because you refuse to shrink. And that's integrity. Now, there is some pain with not belonging, because walking into a room feeling like you're an alien or just having to laugh at people's jokes just not to be isolated, that is painful. And sometimes you'll just be like, man, what is it? When am I going to find my tribe? What is wrong with me? Why do people look at me like this? A lot of times you have a glow about yourself and you don't need to fit in. Sometimes you are the they need to fit in with you, not you fit in with them. How about that? Now, again, like I was saying, it's easy to just question yourself with what's wrong with me? Why can't I be like Jane Doe or John Doe? But then again, they're not the status quo. The real strategy is inner belonging. When you don't belong anywhere else, you have to belong with yourself first. That means you have to stop gaslighting your feelings. You have to start honoring who you are. And if you are a passionate person, be passionate. But stop editing your personality to fit in. Be your own tribe. Ask yourself this. If I was my own best friend, would I tell myself to tone it down, or would I say, girl, keep your light shining? Because belonging doesn't mean everything is going to change anyways. It just means that you have a whole bunch of people around you. And that's not winning. However, belonging to yourself feels better. It feels real. It feels authentic. And it's a place where you can be yourself regardless. It's a place where you are accepted for who you are. That is strength. Not everybody has that. They are around people pretending to be somebody else, hoping that somebody will validate them in their facade. Okay. Now, a lot of times, mostly intense, highly sensitive, intuitive, passionate people, they don't just stumble across their tribe. They may find one or two people that they're good with, maybe three, and they're fine with that. But having these big groups of people, that's not going to fill you. Maybe one good, deep connection, maybe two or three, like I said, but nah, that's not realistic. Now, understand this, not belonging can actually be your fuel because you get to see the facade. You get to see what the insiders can't see, the mask, the hypocrisy, the fakeness. And that can be something that you can use to your advantage. I use it all the time. How do you think I come up with some of this content that I have? Now, here's another truth. Belonging, it's not granted. Okay? It's just stop wanting to belong. When you stand in your own fire without apology, things will shift. People may not understand you, but they will respect you. They'll orbit around your unapologetic presence. Some might even join you, not because you fit their group, but because you gave them permission to admit that they never belonged in those groups either. Now, I don't want to sugarcoat this because being somebody who doesn't really fit in anywhere, it takes skill. You got to be comfortable with radical solitude and learning how to just be yourself without collapsing. Taking walks, journaling, sitting in silence, and just realizing you're still whole. That's emotional regulation because intensity without grounding will burn you out. I come home all the time from work, just drained, having no more energy, not even able to eat dinner because I spent my energy in spaces where I didn't fit in. And I know it when I come home. So now I make sure I conserve my energy and pull back and just fit in with Valerie. My energy was being evaporated by spending time in spaces I didn't fit in. And I just would bleed out in front of people who could not even hold my truth or have space for me. So save your deepest parts for the ones who actually deserve it. And every time you choose authenticity instead of conformity, you resist a world that wants you to be easy and silent. Thriving means realizing you don't need to belong everywhere. One or two deep connections, one safe outlet, one place where you can breathe. That should be enough. So if you feel like you don't belong anywhere, hear me. You are not broken. You're just fine. Create your own lane. Drive your own unique speed limit. You were never meant to fit in. You were meant to awaken and stand out and even unsettle some folks too. And the sooner you understand this, the sooner it will liberate you from the cages that other people accept as their homes. So don't shrink. Don't beg for entry. Don't twist yourself to sit at somebody else's table. Build your own. And trust this, somewhere, someday, someone will see you and see the fire and say, I thought I was the only one. And that is when you will meet your tribe. That is why I created this space. I'm Yellow Butterfly. This is my place and a place for you to gather too. And before I close today with this message, I also want to remind you that I now offer astrology-led life coaching for those of you who are curious about your chart and what it might reveal as far as your patterns and your healing and your relationships. Now, this is completely optional, but it's available now. And if you're ready to go deeper, I'm here for you. As always, I invite you to schedule a one-on-one consultation with me through my website. I want you to subscribe, join my community, and let's work together to create the life you deserve, because freedom, it starts here. See you next time. Bye-bye.
Are you ready to break free from codependency and reclaim your sense of self? Introducing the Essence of Femininity's 21-day Codependency Recovery Mastery Program starting May 1st, 2024. Led by a certified professional life and recovery coach, this program offers guidance and support to help you navigate the complexities of codependency and foster healthier relationships. But hurry, participation is limited and seats are filling up fast. Don't miss this opportunity to embark on a journey of healing and empowerment. The Essence of Femininity, empowering you to reclaim your authenticity and live a life of freedom. This is the essence of femininity. Healing emotion, bold energy. Grace in my walk, truth in my voice. Loving myself is my power, my choice. Butterfly wings, I rise and I shine. The past behind.